Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, here with another series ranking video. Oh god, video. Covering a series that would be good seasonal material. Or at least I figured would be. Ooh, that's very good. So yeah, this is like the Halloween special for the year, except this is getting uploaded early. Because yeah, reasons. Either way, when it comes to horror franchises, I tend to have somewhat controversial opinions, and one one of the things I've noticed, especially with slasher franchises, is that I'll tend to like pretty much every entry in the series, or at least moderately enjoy them, think they're interesting, or watch them if they're on cable. I won't necessarily think they're absolutely awful. Um, like with the Friday the 13th series, honestly, all of those movies are like equally entertaining for me. I don't think any of them are like absolutely god awful. Not even, Jason Goes to Hell. So I figured I'd cover a series that's kind of similar to my stance on that. And just a series that I figure would be good material because it's Halloween. I literally went and grabbed my VHS copies of Halloween and Halloween 2. I thought I had Halloween 3, but apparently I don't have that on VHS. So those are just gonna go next to the Worm Baby. Either way, yeah, ranking the Halloween films from worst to best. Keep in mind that this is just my personal opinion, and also I should mention that like for the first few titles, I'm not gonna have much to say because these titles, specifically the first couple, are entries in the series that I rarely ever watch. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting off at the worst spot is, oh, I knew that either one of those was going to happen, and they both almost happened. Starting off at the number one spot, the first spot, the worst spot, is Halloween Resurrection from 2002. This is the Halloween film that, like, completely retconned the ending of Halloween H2O, which I always kind of figured. I always kind of thought Halloween H2O was, like, a pretty good way to, like, just cut off the series and finally kill off Michael and everything. But they completely retconned the ending of it in order to make another sequel. And, yeah, it's really bad. This is like the only one that I genuinely don't like, or at least find some enjoyment in. It's basically a, like, one of those early 2000s internet cyber horror films, which is just hilarious because, like, you would think that a slasher franchise would end before it would get to that point, but Halloween did not. Basically, a bunch of people are setting up a internet live stream reality show inside the Myers house. Michael doesn't like that. He shows up and kills everybody. Rapper Busta Rhymes is in it for some fucking reason. I don't know why. And yeah, it's just kind of not really that interesting. They kill off like one of the best characters in the entire film. It's really one of the ones that I've seen a handful of times, and I don't really think I'll ever watch again. The second worst is probably The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6, which is interesting because I've seen the producer's cut of it, and the producer's cut is pretty interesting. It's a bit better, but it's still not great. The problem with the sixth one is that it's the sixth fucking movie in a franchise about a guy stabbing people. You've kind of worn it out. Just please let it die at this point, A. And B, they try to explain how Michael has survived this long, how he survived everything that he has survived throughout the series so far. And it's kind of complicated and convoluted, and we didn't really need an explanation as to why, especially the explanation that they give. But you know what? Halloween 6 isn't really that awful. People treat it like it's the absolute worst in the series, but goddamn, it's watchable. I'll give it that. Up next is Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. Some people would probably want me to put, a different title in this spot, but Halloween 4 and the next film, Halloween, that I'm gonna, the next one that's a bit of a step up in my opinion, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, are basically two canonic sequels to the second Halloween, and they involve Michael's niece, I think, having like a psychic connection with him, something like that. It's mildly interesting. They're mildly interesting entries in the series. I remember specifically a moment in the fifth one where Michael stabs a woman with a shotgun, which that's kind of funny. But in all honesty, I don't have much to say about these ones. These ones are, again, the ones that are like take it or leave it for me. I don't watch them every year. I don't watch them every other year. I don't even watch them, every 2 years. I watch them when they're on cable and I have nothing else to watch and I'm just flipping through. And that's how I feel about those sequels. Up next is Halloween H2O, which is the first of the 3 times that Halloween has retconned its own canon, which I'm just now realizing. Halloween H2O works as a sequel to the second film in the series, kind of completely disregarding everything that happened between it. Jamie Lee Curtis returned as Laurie Strode, and she's being targeted by Michael. She's like the headmistress or something of like a school now, I think. I can't remember exactly. I know she has a son, and he's also being targeted. I know a very young Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in the film, and he gets stabbed in the face with a fucking ice skate, which I've always thought was like pretty funny, a pretty interesting death scene. I'm pretty sure that was him who got the ice skate to the face. Either way, this one I'm kind of super nostalgic for because this is one of the first Halloween films. I mentioned in my previous video when I talked about how I saw Halloween when I was really young. This is like the other Halloween film I saw when I was pretty young. And it didn't absolutely scar me or destroy me mentally or anything, but it was the follow up. So it was kind of cool to see Jamie Lee Curtis and then Jamie Lee Curtis again, and it was okay. Yeah, no, these are just gonna go right there. It was great to see Jamie Lee Curtis again and everything. I'm definitely nostalgic for this one, but I do still genuinely think that Halloween H2O is a relatively good entry in the series. It's a worthy entry to the series. And, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Halloween H2O. Up next is the other time, the most recent time that Halloween has retconned its own canon, Halloween 2018, which, to be honest, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm actually just going to link in the description my review of the 2018 Halloween film because it's like a 30-minute long rant about it. I will say that I liked it, hence why it's up this high. And I think it's a decent enough soft reboot and or kind of direct sequel to the first one. I wish they would have called it something other than just Halloween, but whatever. Next is Halloween 2. Probably one of the greatest, horror sequels of all time. One of the greatest direct sequels of all time. Still shot by Dean Cundey, and it looks absolutely fucking amazing because of that. There's some really nice gory kills. Somebody is drowned in a hot tub, and a scalding hot tub, and I've always remembered that. I remember watching Halloween 2 when I was pretty young as well. And the one thing I remember is that Mr. Sandman is on the soundtrack to the film. And, I'm due for a rewatch. I watch, the first 3 Halloween films every year around Halloween. And I've already watched the first Halloween this year. So I'm definitely going to watch the second one once the time comes around to do it. But yeah, Halloween 2 from 1981, very solid, very good follow up. You know, gorier, bigger, more bombastic. I think the fact that people expected the third one to be a direct continuation was like kind of absolutely stupid, because there's no way a human could survive what happens to Michael at the end of that film. Um, well, Michael and Loomis at the end of that film, but whatever, you know. That's whatever. Up next, and these next two, the top two, are going to be controversial picks, controversial placements. Probably, maybe, probably not. Nobody watches my videos. Either way, the next two. So for the next one, I'm going to give it to the original Halloween for the second best of the series. The original Halloween is an absolute classic. I saw it at the drive-in a couple of weeks ago. It was a really great experience to see it that way. It was super creepy, super tense, super enjoyable. I've never really been one to think that the Halloween series, especially the original, is like this super intense, crazy, creepy horror film. But I definitely respect what it does, and I respect what it is, and everything that it has, influenced in the genre. But I kind of never really felt that it was that creepy of a movie. I could never really get into the atmosphere too much, but seeing it at a drive-in definitely really, really helped that atmosphere. And, as years have passed, I've definitely developed more of an appreciation for the atmosphere and for what the film is going for on a more thematic level, which, thematically, the original Halloween is basically telling the audience about the death of suburban innocence, this idea that the death of this idea that, oh, we're in the suburbs, nothing bad can happen to us here, we're not in the city where the serial killers tend to be, we're not out there, where all the crime is. We're in a good, safe neighborhood. Nothing bad ever happens here. It's the death of that idea that the film is about, because not just because the film is about a great evil coming to this small town and causing all this death. It's also about a great evil that came to the town because it was created there. This great evil didn't come from the city. It came from the boy next door, which is the big important thing about the original Halloween. And I really respect it on that level. However, for the number one spot, I really have to give it to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Do I even really need to explain why Halloween 3 is like the best one? I can't even give you a solid reason why. The big thing that I want to say about Season of the Witch. The big thing I want to say about it is that anybody who complains that it's a bad movie because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it needs to shut the fuck up. Because, holy hell, I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sure people who like the movie have been sick of hearing it ever since it came out. But, legitimately, it's very obvious with the second one, they were trying to get rid of Michael, and they were trying to get rid of him in, the most obvious way possible. And also, if the movie would have just been called Season of the Witch, you would be loving it. You would at least have a mild appreciation for it, or it would at least be more of a cult classic than it already is. The only reason that you hate it is because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, and that's why I love it, because it's not a slasher film, it's not cookie cutter, it's not cliche, it is doing its own thing. I'm pretty sure it's still shot by Dean Cundey. I can't confirm that right off the top of my head, but it's still, I think, very well shot. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure Carpenter did the soundtrack to it as well. The soundtrack, unlike the soundtrack to every other Halloween film, where it is these, quick little sharp synth notes for a lot of it, Halloween 3 has this very, drawn out, droning synth score that gives off a bit more of like a science fiction-y type vibe, which I really dig. And also on a thematic level, I think that Halloween 3 is saying something that's a bit bigger, than what the first Halloween is saying thematically. With this third one, it's basically pointing out that corporations are evil. They will kill your children if it means they can make a quick buck. And they don't care about your well-being. They only care about lining their own pockets. It's literally a film about the dangers of capitalism, and that I can really get behind. But, yeah, Halloween 3 is the best one. Don't at me. Don't do shit. I don't care. Either way, that's it. This is the Halloween special, like 2 weeks early. So, yeah, I'm just going to cut it off here. Anyway, guys, this is Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews signing off. Peace.